Well, 2 years and counting, it has been an epic bull run from the depths of the economic crisis. But Charles Nenner, one of the world's leading market analysts, says the bears are preparing to tear out of hibernation.
Okay, so bears red in the claw. Is that going to be what we're headed for? I don't know. He says a brutal bust is ahead for the markets, with the Dow eventually diving all the way down to 5,000, which is more than 1,500 points lower than the bottom we hit 2 years ago today. Charles is the president and founder of the Charles Nenner Research Center. He joins us now to explain his very gloomy forecast.
Well, let's not start to be very gloomy. What happened was we went long in 2009, the first quarter, and we had an upside price target of 1356 on the S&P. So we're getting close. So I told my clients and pension funds and big firms and hedge funds to almost go out of the market, so almost totally out of the market. It doesn't mean we go down immediately. It can take a couple of months. And if we would close above 3056, which I don't think, then I'm going to change my mind. So we're pretty close, about 1% away. On the downside, if we close below 1307, we're getting in trouble. And as you know, I do cycle work that predicts if we're in an up move or a down move. And it looks reasonably stable at the moment. So what I think is that most of 2011, the gains have been taken.
So why did Carl Icahn get out so quickly?
Yeah,
he got out yesterday out of that hedge fund and essentially returned the money to the investors.
Yeah, what do you
was
make
that
of
a mistake?
him? Yeah, he's turning in his suspenders. What do you make of that?
I wasn't in your competition in another network and asked me that question. And they said
there is no other network, Charles. You should know that.
Yeah,
there
what's
is
that
none.
about?
They said.
What are you talking about?
They said that he said because he doesn't understand the macroeconomics anymore. So tell them, give me a phone call so we can continue. But that's if I don't know.
So he's out too soon, is what you said?
No. But he says I don't understand what macroeconomic what's going on.
Well, I think, too, with him, he was saying, like, look, only 25% of my investors are putting fees back toward me, and, you know, why not just give the money back? He's been at it for 5 decades. But what do you think? All right, I'm not so sure people would buy your totally bearish dropping to 5,000. But the question I think they might have is, what would trigger it? Would it be an oil shock? Would it be inflation, an interest rate spike, or what?
Last time I was on this only network that
yes. Yes.
It was from London. And they kind of finished it depressed, so I don't want to depress you, but I also do war and peace cycles. And it shows that we're going to have a major war starting the end of 2012, 2013. And I think that's going to do it.
Wow. Well, the bears have not always been right, of course, over the past year and a half. There have been a lot of underestimating of how powerful earnings would be. That's where bears came up short themselves. They really underestimated the degree to which corporations and companies would be able to earn from consumer drive. They underestimated that. Did you as well?
No, because I don't so much look at it. I just look at my targets. I developed a system that tells you the dates that things are going to happen and the targets. So we went long around 700 on the S&P. And we set the targets at 3056. So then,
but aren't your targets influenced at all by consumer demand and in fact the corporate profits?
Let me put it this way: who was buying the first quarter of 2009? People who understand what happens with dynamic markets.
Yeah, but David's point: do you consider corporate